active and passive voice. The voice of a verb shows whether the subject is active or passive. The verb is active if the subject performs an action, passive if the subject receives an action, as the boys fly kites, active. Kites are flown by the boys, passive. In the first sentence, the subject, the boys, acts. In the second sentence, the subject, kites, receives the action. The object, kites, of the active verb becomes the subject of the passive verb. The passive voice of the verb is made by adding its past participle to some form of the verb be. Table showing passive voice. Tense. How to form passive. Sentence. Simple present. Am, is, are plus past participle. I am seen, he is seen. Simple past. Was, were plus past participle. I was seen, we were seen. Simple future. Shall be, will be plus past participle. I shall be seen, he will be seen. Present continuous. Am, is, are, being plus past participle. I am being seen, he is being seen. Past continuous plus past participle. Was, were being plus past participle. I was being seen, we were being seen. Present perfect. Have, has been plus past participle. I have been seen. Past perfect. Had been plus past participle. I had been seen. Future perfect. Shall, will have been plus past participle. I shall have been seen. Note: the active voice is more direct and more forceful than the passive, but there are legitimate uses for the passive, as to eliminate mention of the agent. He was found copying. Toffees were distributed among the school children. To emphasize the recipient of an action. The President of Sri Lanka was given a warm welcome in India. From active to passive. When a sentence is turned from active voice into passive voice, the following changes are made. The object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. The subject in the active voice becomes the object in the passive voice. The passive voice of the verb is made by adding its past participle to some form of the verb to be, is, am, are, was, were, been, being. Simple present tense. Active, he sells mangoes. Passive, mangoes are sold by him. Active, they play cricket. Passive, cricket is played by them. Simple past tense. Active, the principal taught a new lesson. Passive, a new lesson was taught by the principal. Active, he made many mistakes. Passive, many mistakes were made by him. Simple future tense. Active, I shall tell a story. Passive, a story will be told by me. Active, she will buy fruit. Passive, fruit will be bought by her. Present continuous tense. Active, Sachin is playing cricket. Passive, cricket is being played by Sachin. Active, girls are decorating the room. Passive, the room is being decorated by girls. Past continuous tense. Active, the farmers were reaping the crops. Passive, the crops were being reaped by the farmers. Active, I was helping my sister. Passive, my sister was being helped by me. present perfect tense. Active, the leader has given many promises. Passive, many promises have been given by the leader. Active, I have won the first position. Passive, the first position has been won by me. Past perfect tense. Active, she had served the guests. Passive, the guests had been served by her. Active, we had lost the match. Passive, the match had been lost by us. Future perfect tense. Active, Ruchika will have kept her promise. Passive, her promise will have been kept by Ruchika. Active, the police will have arrested the thieves. Passive, the thieves will have been arrested by the police. Note: there is no passive voice in case of future continuous tense and the three perfect continuous tenses present, past and future. Interrogative sentences. Active: do you take regular exercise? Passive: is regular exercise taken by you? Active: did he read that book? Passive: was that book read by him? Transitive verbs having two objects. Some transitive verbs govern two objects. Make either the direct or the indirect object as the subject, as active, she gave me a pen. Passive, a pen was given to me by her. I was given a pen by her. Active, Mr. Pankaj teaches us English. Passive, English is taught to us by Mr. Pankaj. We are taught English by Mr. Pankaj. Prepositional verbs. While changing a prepositional verb from active to passive voice, the preposition should not be dropped as it is a part of the verb, as active, we knocked at the door. Passive, the door was knocked at by us. Active, I wonder at his boldness. Passive, his boldness is wondered at by me. Auxiliary verbs. While changing auxiliary verbs into the passive, add be and the past participle with them, as active, Ankur may win the prize. Passive, the prize may be won by Ankur. Active, we should respect our elders. Passive, our elders should be respected by us. Imperative sentences. In imperative sentences, let be is used to change the voice if the sentence is to remain imperative. Otherwise, should be can also be used, as active, let us do this work. Passive, let this work be done by us. Active, don't pluck flowers. Passive, let flowers not be plucked. Flowers should not be plucked. Note: in case of intransitive verbs, the imperative sentences are changed into passive voice like this. Active, please stand up. Passive, you are requested to stand up. Active, sit down. Passive, you are ordered to sit down. Typical sentences. Active, it is time to take some refreshment. Passive, it is time for some refreshment to be taken. Active, the jug contains milk. Passive, milk is contained in the jug. Verbs active in form but passive in sense. Transitive verbs are sometimes used in a passive sense without being put in passive, as iron feels hard, is hard when it is felt. Quinine tastes bitter, is bitter when it is tasted. The book is printing, is being printed. When the agent is not expressed in the passive voice, it must be supplied in the active voice, as passive, all precautions have been taken. Active, we have taken all precautions. Passive, promise should be kept. Active, one should keep one's promise.